Hey, welcome back here. Today we're going to talk about Maze Race and how you get started on this. This video is important because there are some tricks and some problems students have discovered so far when building out Maze Race. So let's get started with that. Let's jump into Create. And the first thing we want to do for Maze Race, we want to create a maze type of background. In order to do that, we're going to go into Stage, click into Backdrops. Then I'm going to change the color of the background. Let's make it all red. Using this is your fill bucket. I click in there, it makes everything red. Now I'm going to use the paintbrush, make this kind of large, and I'm going to make the color white now. And I am going to make myself a maze here. Make a line going across. This doesn't even have to be very nice. Make a maze up here. A line there. Short line. Make a long line all the way up. Let's go back this way. And there we have it. I'm going to do two other things. I'm going to make a tiny green dot for the start. Because we're going to start, that's probably too tiny. Our start is right there. And let's make, I realized that if I want the end to be a red stop sign, I should have chosen a different background color. Let's make the end to be purple. There we have it. Now we're going to save that. We'll, instead of backdrop 1, we'll just call it Maze. There we have it. Now I'm going to keep the same sprite we have out here. Our sprite is our character, so that's the cat. I'm going to shrink this cat down a little bit, which we accomplish by clicking these little shrink buttons up above. Then click on this cat and make that cat a lot smaller. And then I'm going to drag the cat down by the green button. The first thing I'm going to want to do in this, now I'm going to start with trying to figure out how to move my sprite back and forth and up and down in the maze. Let's do that. The first thing we want to bring in event when the green flag is clicked. The first thing we want to do is we want to set the sprite back to the starting spot. So go to motion, drag that in. If you have your sprite set up where you want it, that position automatically goes there. The next thing we want to set up a forever loop. Sorry, my phone was buzzing there. There's a test of the emergency alert system. Anyhow, back to this. We want to get our character moving back and forth. So now we need to add in a bunch of if-else loops, or if-else statements. I'm going to add 4 of them. 1 to denote each direction. And I'm going to go back to sensing. And if key pressed, and let's say this is the up arrow. Let's drag in another key pressed. This is the down arrow. And we're just going to do this for the up, down, right, and left arrows. There we have it. So what we want to do in each one of those to get our character to move, we just want to rotate the direction of our character and move 3 steps in that direction. Let's do that. So in each case, if it's the up arrow, we want to point it in the direction of up, and then we want to move, and instead of 10 steps, let's move 3 steps. And I'm not going to duplicate that. I'm going to point in direction again, and this is the down arrow. So we want to point this down, and we want to move 3 steps again. We're going to continue to do this for the other ones. The right arrow, so we want this to point right. And we also want to move 3 steps as well. And for the very last one, we're going to go left. And we're going to move 3 steps again. Now let's give that a try. So let's click on this flag. And now I'm going to hit my arrow keys. You'll notice my cat, or my sprite in this case, moves back and forth. My problem is I can run all over the red. That's a problem. We want to try to avoid that. So here's what we're going to do. If we run into a red, we probably want to go 3 steps backwards. And that's all we want to do. Otherwise, we want to deal with the left, right arrow keys and move in a certain direction. So I am going to drag in a very large if else in here. Let's see, I want all this stuff out. Want to put that in there. I'm putting all of my previous ifs within this else clause here. Now what I want to do, if my sprite is touching the color red, let's click on this. I want the sprite to go 3 steps backward. That kind of makes sense, I think. So if your sprite is going, if it takes 3 steps into the red, and now you discover you're touching red, you want to go 3 steps back out. So let's give that a try. Let's stop this. Let's restart our game. Oh, we'll notice our sprite is upside down. We don't really want this sprite to rotate. So let's do that. We only want it to turn left and right. Now, my arrow keys go back. Now, you'll notice as I travel along, I'm going to try to run into the wall. It kind of bounces off. Oh, but you'll notice sometimes you can get caught on things. You can get caught on some edges. And sometimes you can end up. There's an example. Oh, there's an example. My sprite has got stuck. Let's do that again. We're going to try that one more time, because this is the part of the game that is going to get people and they're going to get stuck up on. And it's really going to be challenging, and my children are having a little bit of troubles with it yesterday. So I'm going to walk us through a solution to get this done. But let's demonstrate again what happens in this case. I'm going to be pointing to some of the things in the if loop. We only concern ourselves if it's touching red, we go 3 steps backward. The problem in our else statement is we do a bunch of these things. So if we are pressing 2 keys at the same time, we can point in a direction, then move 3 steps. Then right after that, we can point in another direction and move 3 more steps. So we can end up more than just 3 steps into the red. And what happens is, as you move along, you will sometimes, and it's kind of hard to do this, there you go. I get stuck down in that bottom corner. Now our sprite is stuck back there. Let's click back in here. And let's move the cat around. You'll notice it's stuck and we can't get out. Here is how we fix this problem. We need to pull all of these if-else's, all of these ifs out. And we need to make sure that every time we get into this else portion, we only move in one direction. And how we do that is we are going to nest a bunch of if-else statements in there. So if it's the up arrow, we are going to point in the direction of up and move 3 steps. Else, that would mean it's a key other than the up arrow pressed, else we are going to go into this part of it. And this one is if the key down arrow is pressed. We're going to go in the down direction and move 3 steps. You can kind of see the pattern here. Now in the else, we're dragging in another if else. If it's the right arrow that we've pressed, we're going to point right. And then we're going to move 3 steps. One more time. One more time. We're going to drag in the key left arrow is pressed, and we're going to point in that direction. We actually don't even need the else portion here, so I'm going to save us a little bit, and I'm going to repopulate this into here, and I'm just the last time I'm going to drag in an if. Then I'm going to get rid of these, and I'm going to get rid of those. Now when I run through this program, my sprite should show up again. Now I only go in one direction, and I can't get myself stuck on the edges anymore. So even if I try down here, I can't. And that's what you want. But that's the first part of the game. Can you get your sprite to move through your maze without going outside of the maze path? Anyhow, that's step 1 of Maze Race. I hope you have some luck, and I hope you got a chance to play around with this and maybe struggle with how do you get your character to move throughout the maze on your own. And I hope this video helps provide you a couple of tips to get past that and into the next phase of the program. Anyhow, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.